one of the things I love to do is offer kind of a fun, friendly service. So when I get orders, I actually, if they have questions, I talk to them personally. I deal with it all myself as a small business. But as the volumes increase, that's becoming, more difficult. So that's one of the key challenges. I want to make sure.
It's a good problem to have. Well, on this CheckoutScout Tent, we're joined by Alex Cox, who's the founder of Raw Bean Coffee. He's going to talk to us a little bit about his journey and his business. Alex, hello and welcome.
So, I'm the founder of Raw Bean. I started Raw Bean in 2012 with the key aim of creating high quality tasting coffee and having fun while selling it at the same time. So that's the key reason for setting up my own business.
What were you doing before and what made you decide to start your own business?
Yeah, so I started out working for Kellogg's as a rep on the road, so going around different retail supermarkets, encouraging them to sell more Kellogg's. And then I've built my way up through the years, mainly working in hot beverages. So working for big companies like Twinings as an international market manager, looking after Mauritius and the Caribbean. Also worked with Clipper for 5 years as a senior business manager, looking after retail. So I had Waitrose, Morrison's, Tesco, all of those companies as my clients. And then finally, I also worked as a Waitrose buyer. So that was really interesting. I got to see both sides of the fence and really understand what the retail buyer is looking for, which has helped me since with my own business and making sure that whatever I do is actually geared to what the actual buyer needs.
Give us a rough idea of the size and the traffic of Raw Bean. Where have you got to so far?
Yeah, so Raw Bean's the website has been initially a very small part of the business. It was more of a service element for people who couldn't get to Waitrose, Sainsbury's, or Holland & Barrett to buy their Raw Bean, and it was more about offering the service for customers outside of those areas. But since the lockdown back in March 2020, we've seen exponential growth in online. So we've seen a 500% increase in sales. And now it's about 20% of my total turnover, and it's actually part of the business I'm really keen to kind of grow and focus on now.
What are some of the challenges just bringing this kind of coffee to market currently?
And the main challenges really have been around obviously supply issues, getting coffee into the country with all the coronavirus delays that you get from importing products. The actual raw coffee and also the raw ingredients of packaging have been a real issue. Also seen massive price increases on anything to do with card, which I'm sure lots of people are experiencing. And I think the other challenge is just around fulfilling all the increased orders online for me. As a smaller business, I didn't anticipate such an uplift in sales. So I went from doing maybe 50 or 60 orders a week to like 500. One of the things I love to do is offer kind of a fun, friendly service. So when I get orders, I actually, if they have questions, I talk to them personally. I deal with it all myself as a small business. But as the volumes increase, that's becoming, more difficult. So that's one of the key challenges. I want to make sure.
It's a good problem to have. So focusing a little bit on the e-commerce part of the business, which you said has grown rapidly and you want to focus on more.
Yeah.
As an emerging business in that sector, what are the sort of challenges and issues that you're confronting? And in a minute we can talk about how you're solving them. But what have you got to kind of get through to make it work?
Yeah, so I think we've seen this 500% increase in sales, which is brilliant, and that's been ongoing since March. So we're even though we've had a bit of less of a lockdown back in June and July, we're still the sales. So I think the key challenge is really around the website. So I'm looking at how the website performs. I'm now all of a sudden trying to understand Google Ads and Google Analytics. And so one of the things I've actually personally been doing is setting aside 2 hours a day to really try and teach myself about those elements. So I've, God forbid, I've been getting up at 6 a.m. and working from 6 to 8:30. I've actually dedicated the time specifically to doing training. So I've done all the Google Ads video YouTube training that they provide. I've gone on to Google Ads and really tried to understand how keywords work. So all these little things that I think you might just give out to a third party. I'm really keen to understand myself so that I can really make sure that I'm not wasting money on Google ads that are having no impact at all. So that can't be part of your day-to-day job because there's so many other things to do. So I've dedicated this time before work, and it's made a huge difference to the effectiveness of my ads, which is great. So I'm seeing let's say if I put 1,000 in, I'm getting £4,500 out of Google ads. So that's great. And one of the other things I've just launched this last 2 weeks is a subscription model. And I know lots of people are doing it, but so I'm hoping to try and capture customers who will then buy on a regular basis. So it's lots of exciting.
Tell us a bit more about that, because I was looking at your site and I did notice that. What provider or system are you using to encourage subscribers?
So I've done a lot of research into the subscription model side of it. There's two companies I've been particularly interested in, which is Recharge, which I think is the market leader, and then also another company called Bold. Both have their advantages and disadvantages. And I've actually, at the moment, gone with Recharge on the basis that it links with the other system, which is Klaviyo. And Klaviyo does a whole workflow on sending out emails. And I'm really keen to interact with my consumer on a more regular basis. I don't want to spam my customers, but I'm really keen to communicate better with them. So looking at maybe a monthly email, and then also segmenting within that, depending on what product they buy. I have a range. I've done Nespresso compatible pods, bean bags, and they're different consumers. So I want to create dedicated personalized emails for people who've bought specific products. And so Recharge and Klaviyo link together, integrate, and I'm hoping that I can use the two together to create a slicker automated workflow that will then help the consumer feel more involved with the brand and then build up some brand loyalty. That's the aim anyway.
Right. No, I see that. And just to unpack that a little bit, so does the Bold product not integrate with Klaviyo?
Well, yes, this is what I'm trying to. So at the moment, I can't see anywhere on the Bold website or the Klaviyo website saying that they integrate. So that's hence why I've gone for the Recharge. Bold, I think, had more options around different discount levels on the size of the regularity of your subscription. So if you subscribe more for more regular deliveries, you could give them a bigger discount, which is something I really want to reward loyalty. And there's a lot of cost involved. I'm putting into getting new customers through the Google ads and then the social media posts. And so if I've got a customer who wants to buy regularly, I feel like I should give them that portion I would have invested in them to get them in the first place with the Google ads and things. And I see it as a long-term relationship. And I'm hoping that, if I can get regular customers over time, if they're maybe not profitable right in the beginning, over time that will come and, the relationship will build. So.
Yeah, no, I can see that. And in terms of the cost model, are they SaaS platforms? You pay a monthly subscription, or are they commission?
Yeah, so they're all. That's actually, they all seem to be with. So I'm on a Shopify platform for the whole website, and everything seems to be a monthly app, which on some things I can understand, but on others I think is just it would be better just to pay a one-off fee for designing it. And I think if my site keeps growing, that's something I'll look into rather than paying an ongoing monthly subscription of $30, $40, $50 a month. After a year of paying that, you could have probably paid a developer to create a simple version of that app that you just pay once for. So I'm hoping to be a bit canny and find a way of keeping my costs down, because I think you can get very excited with all these SaaS add-on apps and suddenly find your monthly bill has gone up significantly, and you're not getting the return on what you're selling then. Yeah.
So any other platforms or providers or services that you're using to grow out the e-commerce side of the business, Alex?
I think the key things for me are around Google Analytics. I'm also really keen on getting Bing involved. I think it's often neglected, and I think there's a lot of consumers that use Bing, and that's another element I'm adding to the platform. As far as apps go, I think the key ones for me are the subscription model and the emailing model. They're the two key ones I'm working on at the moment.
So just coming to the end of our little chat with some sort of slightly quick fire questions. With your experience as a growing e-com and the journey into the e-commerce technology, what's your sort of tip for success in 2021? Are there any particular businesses, providers that you think are going to kind of break through and we should keep our eyes on?
Well, I think, yeah, it's just the Klaviyo thing is I've only started seeing that in the last few months. I think that it's really storming ahead. As for other brands that are doing a great job using all these different platforms, I've really been following a company called Pip and Nut, and they do peanut butter, and they've done really well. Is they've integrated all their social platforms, got them all working in sync. They've just launched their first TV advert, and what I love is the way that every single touch point with the brand is synchronized and all fits together really well. And that's something I'd love to emulate with Raw Bean. And I think all these different apps are going to help me do that. And I think one of the key things is getting the right designer to link it all together.
And another question for you. I know you've got your own business, of course, but we always ask people on the interviews, if you had unlimited funding and product and web people, and you wanted to design a new business tomorrow, what would you start as another business?
Oh, right. Well, I'm not sure I really want to give it away, but I think the key business I would absolutely love to start, and I've been looking at, but try not to get distracted, obviously, is a sushi fish delivery business. So I think there's a massive, I'm not talking about the finished sushi rolls I'm talking about blocks of fish so you can make sushi at home. And I think the challenges behind that are around delivery and keeping the fish below the right temperature so that you don't kill people when they start eating it. But I really believe there's a massive opportunity, because I love sushi and I really like to make it at home. And you're not really supposed to buy over-the-counter fish in the supermarkets to use for sushi. So I'm looking at different models, a way of getting that to the consumer in a fresh state.
And finally, as we're coming out of lockdown in the UK, certainly, what's the first kind of bricks and mortar type experience you're looking to go back to experiencing when you can?
Well, I've been thought hard about this, and the key thing I really want to do is have really nice food in a restaurant. So there's a local business to me called the Chesel Rectory in Winchester. They're in a 14th century building, the oldest commercial building in Winchester, and it's a beautiful. They've won romantic restaurant in the Times or something in the top 10 before, and it's absolutely wonderful food, great atmosphere, and I just can't wait to get back. It's somewhere I like to take the wife, and we like to go out and really enjoy the food they do and the wine, and so that's something that I've really missed. And outside of that, I also love the Ivy Brasseries. They're a really great fun place, and the staff there really look after you. So there's going to be quite a few meals I'm going to get to when we can finally get out to restaurants. That's what I'm really looking forward to.
Very positive note to end on. So yeah. Alex Cox, thank you very much for joining us on the CheckoutScout Tent.
Thank you very much. It's been very enjoyable, and good luck with it all.